Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Mike, one of the senior developers at 11th Hour Games, held his normal Friday Q&A live stream on Twitch, which means I get to bring you Dev Chat 35. And as always, Mike answers a lot of good questions, and today goes into a little more detail on what is coming to the crafting system. So make sure you stick around. Now, I've been saying it at the beginning of all my videos. If you think I deserve it, I am hoping today is the day that I earn your subscription. Right now, 30% of all my views come from subscribers, which means 70% are non-subscribers. And that's okay, but I'm hoping today is the day you decide to hit that little red button, because it truly does go far. All right. As always, I will share my thoughts. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below. Here we go. So the first question we're going to cover actually comes from me during the stream. Now, the other day I made a video on Zizarin's new Squirrel helmet, which, by the way, I really want for my Beastmaster. And my question was very simple. Is it going to be a very rare drop? Listen.
All right. Will Squirrel Helm be very rare drop? Yeah, the Squirrel Helm's a rare one for sure. It's a chase item. It has very high variance on its affixes. It'll be really tough to get a really good one. They're like, I think it's 5 to 75% or something like that on 4 of the rolls, and then one more roll it's like 10 to 30%. So it's got a big range on those rolls. But yeah. And that was something he asked for specifically. And the other question we got, which I thought was obvious, but like we clearly have to update the tooltip a little bit, is that we have like the squirrels are effectively wolves. Like the wolves turn into squirrels. The wolf tree still applies to squirrels. Like the wolves are squirrels, or squirrels are wolves. Either way, it works.
Did you catch that too? So it's a question that I actually get a lot as well. Like, oh, is the squirrels going to get their own tree? Like, how's that work? No, it's just wolves that look like squirrels. That's all it is. And he's right. There are large ranges on that item, including +2 wolves, anywhere from 1 to 3. So it's going to be very rare drop. And then if you get it to drop so that you can create squirrels, hopefully you get a good roll. Let the chase begin. Now, during the stream, we continuously hammered Mike on the Squirrel helmet, and we kept asking different questions about it, and we begged him to show us what a squirrel in-game looked like. And unfortunately, they're not ready to unveil that yet. But it's a quick little anecdote. Mike said he will draw a squirrel for us.
Oh my god, this is awful.
Show us that those art skills, sir.
This is how do you draw squirrel appendages? Arms? Oh my god, this is just the worst thing ever. Oh, guys, I don't know if I'm gonna show this off. This looks like a dinosaur or something with a giant tail.
Just show it.
Let's try and give him some fur. Hide my abysmal drawings. He's holding a big acorn. That's what that is. You're gonna have
it's
to
coming. I'm sorry.
It's an acorn.
There it is.
It's a squirrel.
That's what it's going to look like in game. We are officially moving off squirrels and now on to dungeons. And this is something that he's talked about in the past. The question was asked, what purpose are dungeons going to play in Last Epoch? Mike, go.
So dungeons are... There's a few purposes they're going to serve. One of them, their main purpose, is as a new endgame activity to do with unique rewards and new mechanics that go with it. That's the primary feature, I would say. Well, That's how I'm going to look at it as the primary feature. The secondary thing that it does do is it will give you opportunities to augment the leveling process for alts. And I know that's like the same line I used last time. There's no new information there, but it will be coming, I promise.
You caught that right. Augment the leveling of alt characters. You only got to play the campaign once. The next question where I learned something new. Mike, can you have class-specific affixes on legendary gear?
Yeah, you'll be able to have lots of class-specific affixes on legendaries. There's legendaries are kind of all over the place in what they can have. Like, there's there's almost anything you can get in there.
Good. He goes on for a second. Give him a sec. He's thinking about what he just said.
Obviously, depending on which one it is. Sorry. You should say that. That might not be obvious, but yes. You can't put any affix on any legendary. Like, you can't just... No, that... We're not putting plus melee physical damage on every single slot. that would be bad.
Did you hear the way he said that, though? You can't put every affix on every item. Is that his way of alluding that you'll be able to craft legendaries? Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was able to get out of Mike the last letter of the third transform, which ended up being Swarm Blade. It would appear that somebody else in chat picked up on this.
First and last letter for the new rogue skill. I'll give you a last letter to tell you nothing. It's an S.
We know we're getting a new rogue skill, and now we know it ends in S. I'm gonna allow Mike to read this next question and give his answer around Transmog, and then we're moving on to crafting updates.
Will you allow Transmog to change weapon types? Like, can I make a spear look like a sword, or could that mess up animations, especially for things like Serpent Strike? Yes, it could definitely mess up animations, especially for things like Serpent Strike. I love this amulet. Very cool. I would say... unlikely to be able to transmog swords into spears and spears into swords, and like the base type. I say base type. So this is a term we've been dealing with. We're working out some wording for something recently, and we're like, we can't use the term base type because quite a few people think base type would mean like Flamebridge, not two-handed sword. But in the back end, the term base type means two-handed sword, and subtype means Flamebridge. So, and it's unfortunate that we can't use that terminology because most people, when they say base type, they mean Flamebridge. And we can't use item slot either because like these both go in the same item slot, but they're different types. So item type, I think, is the way to do it. So yeah, likely it'll have to be like only two-handed swords.
Nothing yet, but it will for sure be that base. One-handed swords. You cannot make your sword look like a spear. First crafting question. A lot of us have thousands of shards that we never use. Is there going to be anything future to sync all your shards in?
Yeah, that's definitely something we are looking at. And we want to have shard syncs for various things because we know that some people will, for example, maybe only ever play one character. And if you're only ever playing a Blade Dancer, plus spell damage is likely never going to be a useful shard for you to use. And it's just going to sit there doing nothing, collecting dust. So having something to use them on is likely going to be good. I mean, if there's an economy on like selling them is a useful thing to do with them. But we know that lots of people play single player as well, so having a mechanic for them at the same time, which would give them more value in an economy system as well. So, yes, we are looking at things to do with them. What are we going to do with them? I don't know yet. The new crafting system will likely have you using a lot more of them in general, but not for the ones that you never use, because you don't need them.
Something's coming. He doesn't know what it is, but the new crafting system you're going to use more. All right, everyone, we have come to our final question, and it's very simple. How big is the crafting rework? And as always, I'm going to allow Mike to take out this video with his answer. Mike, thank you for continuing to hold these Friday Q&As. The community truly appreciates it. Now, I want you to listen to his answer. Mike does a really good job of telling us everything without telling us anything. And you'll get what I mean by that when you listen to his answer. If you haven't had a chance to join the official Action RPG Discord, please do so. We're now over 1,200 members, great conversations every day. The idea is to create a gaming community that could jump from game to game together, so you never start the server alone. Link for that Discord is in the description. And I'm sure you've heard by now that I have officially started, actually this way, Twitch, streaming on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, having so much fun with the ARPG community. First link in the description if you'd like to go there and support. Mike, thanks again. Take it away.
The core, I want to say functionality of being able to take shards and affix them to items. I didn't say affix when they're affixes. Bad choice of words, Mike. Being able to take an item and slap an affix on it and have that item now have that new affix, being able to slap an upgrade onto that, that's not going anywhere. That's the same. That's still the way it is. We're really trying to target the feelings that get generated from the system and how those get evoked. So, like, showing this number, and I want to be clear, we're not just removing this number, but showing this number is really terrible because no one understands what this number means. It's a broad generalization. Very few people know what this number means. And I know it's really obvious at first glance what this number means, but it's in practice, almost no one can really understand in their head what's happening with this number and repeatedly using this number. And so we've redesigned the system a bit to get away from having just this, like, this number, basically. And I want to be clear, we're not leaving everything the same and just turning the number off, because that doesn't fix the problem. Because if we do turn that number off, if that was what we were doing, is just turning the number off, which is not what we're doing, keep saying it, 'cause it's not, we're not just turning the number off, is that you'd end up with someone just generating a tool to figure out the math behind what it is, and then there'd just be like some big giant spreadsheet on a website that'll be like, if you have these number of affixes, like put the number of affixes in the item, and I'll generate the chance for you. And it would just turn to a Google sheet that gets circulated, or it would be built into Tunk Labs or Epoch tools or something like that. Like, it's great websites, don't get me wrong. And we want to avoid having those third-party tools be necessary to do things. So we want that information that you need to decide if you want to do this upgrade or not still be in the system. We still want there to be a like an element of chance, a risk-reward system that's like all these like core things we're keeping in there. And I'm like really trying to describe how it's changing without actually saying what's changing. It's really hard. There will be a post about it, but I guess what I want to say is the core goals of the crafting system are staying the same, and the core functionality of the crafting system is staying the same, but the way it happens and the feelings it evokes is changing. And overall, so the CTs do have their hands on this now. And overall, I think the feedback's been really positive. They've had some great suggestions to shore up the system as well. which is why we show it to a few people before we release it fully, because we are not perfect. And but yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm really confident with it. I think it's going to be a very positive change. I think we're going to get way fewer posts of crafting system is broken, because we do still see those posts on the forum and on Reddit and on Discord. Like, why does 90% feel like 10%? Is like, I bet there's a dozen posts that have almost that exact same title, you know? Because and like overhauling all the glyphs and runes available as well, because most of them don't make sense anymore for the new system. And we really want to add new mechanical options in these runes and glyphs. So not only are we overhauling the old ones, we're also adding new ones as well.